Good morning, everybody. My name is Sol Bouquet, and you're watching this show on a beautiful Friday morning, March 15th, 2024. I just want to thank you so much for being here. This episode is sponsored by the subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our future uploads. Huge shout out to our executive producers as well as our sponsors. If you want to sponsor an episode of Good Morning Everybody, reach out to me at contactgoodmorningeverybody@gmail.com and make sure you hit that notification bell as well so that you don't miss any of our future uploads. Today, we have a lot to talk about, but I'm going to make it quick. I know it's Friday. Everyone's a little bit jittery. We want to get through the day. We want to make sure that we get to the weekend. So I'm going to make it pretty short and simple today, but I just want to thank you so much for being here. Today's moment in history. Today, in 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson calls for equal voting rights. On March 15th of 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson addresses a joint session of Congress to urge the passage of legislation guaranteeing voting rights for all. Using the phrase, "we shall overcome," borrowed from African-American leaders struggling for equal rights, Johnson declares that every American citizen must have an equal right to vote. So today in 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson pushed for equal voting rights. It's crazy to think about. That was only like a little over 50 years ago. We're a pretty young nation. We've overcome a lot, but we also have a long, long way to go. So that was the moment in history. We do have a lot to talk about, actually. Today, I'm very excited, but we are going to start with the weather today. I just want to make sure that all of our brothers and sisters going out there, commuting, braving the weather, have the opportunity to at least have a little bit of a heads up of what's going on today. So we're going to go ahead and pull that up. Today's weather, it's actually looking a little bit more rainy today, a little bit more cloudy today, stretching across most of the United States, unfortunately. Chance of precipitation coming from the Midwest area all the way down from part of Texas through Tennessee up into the northeast seaboard and even going up into Maine. Looks like we are going to be a little bit drizzly today. Temperature wise, we should be okay though. It's going to be still a little bit warm for us. Yeah, it looks like we have a bit of a severe storm system actually in the Midwest there touching Oklahoma. It looks like we're going up into Louisiana a little bit. Temperature-wise, though, it is pretty mild like it was yesterday. Yesterday was a beautiful day. If you had a chance to get outside, I'm really glad you did. It was gorgeous. But today and this morning especially, it's going to be 60s to 70s actually as we approach sort of midday and getting up even into the mid 70s as we go along. Of course, that is mainly the Midwest into the northeast seaboard. If you go a little bit west and if you go further in the United States, sort of in the northwest seaboard, it is still a little bit cold. We're getting sort of a cold front down from Canada still. But even then, we're still looking at 40s to low 50s even in some areas. And so obviously this morning, if you're in those western areas, maybe a little bit of a lighter jacket, maybe a hoodie to kind of start the day, but then as it warms up, you might be able to get rid of that. Of course, bring an umbrella, scattered thunderstorms, and especially for some of those Midwestern states, a severe thunderstorm warning. So just be careful as you're going out. Make sure you're protected. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Other news today. Moving into some political news, we actually have a New York hush money case being pushed. Donald Trump and his lawyers were able to actually successfully convince the judges to push or delay rather the proceedings for the hush money case. As of right now, it's not really on record how much this is being pushed, but the New York criminal hush money case was the only criminal case that Donald Trump and his lawyers had to deal with that had an actual firm trial date. And so the fact that this is pushed is actually a pretty big win for Donald Trump. The federal election subverse case is on hold until the Supreme Court hears Trump's immunity claims next month, while Trump's lawyers are pushing to delay his classified documents mishandling trial in Florida until August. So they're actually trying to kind of play a game of Jenga here. They're trying to push things as much as possible past the election, or at least push things as much as possible past that Supreme Court hearing whether or not he has immunity. On the subject of that Florida case, though, that didn't go as well for Trump and his lawyers, because the judge there denied the claim to dismiss the charges, even though There's still a chance the trial could be pushed. The initial motion for dismissal of charges has not gone very well for them. Judge denying them. Trump and his team were basically making the argument that the statute was vague and unconstitutional, maybe a bit more vague than unconstitutional. At least that's what they were trying to push for. But the judge didn't really have any of that in court. She made the point that the vagueness claim raised by Trump has come up in many other cases and that no other judge has ever found the statute to be unconstitutional. It's a part of the Espionage Act and it makes sense. And so that is going forward as scheduled. No trial date as of yet, at least according to what I've read, but that will be coming up. That will be something that they have to deal with. So a lot of cases that they're trying to juggle right now. And of course, as we're approaching election season, it's even more complicated because we have, for the first time in a while, obviously there was Nixon, a presidential candidate who is being investigated pretty thoroughly for not just political, but also criminal charges. And so we're going to see how that plays out as election season comes around. But of course, I want to hear what your thoughts are. All of these resources are going to be linked down in the description below. Feel free to read them, investigate them, come to your own conclusions. If there are any things that you think I omitted or missed, or if you just want to start a conversation, feel free to drop that in the comments. I want to hear people's opinions. And I think that's the comment section is a safe space for you to express your opinions, ask questions, and just start a conversation. So feel free to do that. Again, linked down in the description. But now on to some more lighthearted and fascinating news. We're actually going to talk a little bit about SpaceX. SpaceX is in the news again. Initially, upon reading this, especially if you're just a sort of article title hound and you're just reading titles, this seems like a pretty fantastic fail. SpaceX, incredibly powerful starship, lost in the Indian Ocean after reaching orbit for first time. Sounds pretty pessimistic, but it's actually kind of a small victory because this is SpaceX's third attempt for this particular brand of starship that they have appropriately named Starship, which I think is pretty cute. This attempt, however, is the first attempt that actually was able to reach orbital velocity and actually orbit the Earth before reentry. So again, this is the team saying, but again, it's just incredible to see how much further we got this time around. They were able to reach orbit, conduct a few experiments, and, short of a successful reentry, which again, the reentry plan was just to splash down in the Indian Ocean anyway. Again, that was not, it wasn't like they were trying to re-land this or challenge or shuttle in. The whole plan was to splash down anyway. So the fact that they just kind of lost on a re-entry, for as much as that sounds pretty, fantastic, this was a pretty successful test, and we have people, like NASA as well, saying that this is actually a huge victory because the agency is actually slated to use Starship's human landing system to transport humans to the moon's surface for the first time since 1972 for upcoming missions Artemis 3 and 4. So again, pretty big victory for SpaceX, actually, for as much as a lot of the articles are sort of slating it as, the ship was lost, a fantastic crash, failure. For as much as that is the case, it really was a fairly successful test. So good on SpaceX, good on NASA. Hopefully we'll be able to see some more safe versions of moon travel in the near future because of this test. Moving on to some more fun and some more, I would say, some more happy news. We have the artist highlight of today, which I found this morning actually as I was just kind of perusing Instagram, and I initially had someone else slated for artist of the day, but I saw this and it's just more interesting and fascinating than anything else. I just watch it. I just couldn't believe that this was real. Hold on, let me pull this up.
O'Leary, O'Reilly, O'Hare and O'Hara, there's no one as Irish as Barack Obama. Tooraloo, 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 tooralama, there's no one as Irish as Barack Obama. From the Blarney Stone to the Great Hill of Tara, there's no one as Irish as Barack Obama.
So that's a real gas station apparently in Ireland, and I love the song. And I love that this gas station exists. It's very funny. Would I visit it if I ever went to Ireland? Absolutely. Is it insane? Yes. My favorite small detail of that video is not just the fact that it is a Barack Obama themed gas station, but also that there's an air pump that's the Conan O'Brien air pump. It really tickled me this morning. So go follow Brit Life. They cover a lot of sort of British Isles moments and funny locations and also just things to do. It's basically a lifestyle channel for the British Isles. So go check them out. Give them a follow. They're very, very funny. Moving on, though, we're going to move on to the small creator cam. I'm actually very excited about today's small creator as well. It's very interesting, different channel than I normally highlight. Obviously, you know me, I've highlighted a lot of like theme park stuff, a lot of gaming stuff in the past, but I wanted to talk about a small YouTuber that I found by the name of Duddy Vintage. Duddy Vintage is a channel that essentially does vintage and thrifting clothing hauls, and they talk about sort of where the stylings came from, and they express their interest. They're also very funny. Just have a watch. We're going to watch the first like 30, 45 seconds.
Here at our storage unit, we're exercising our Second Amendment rights. Welcome. Storage Wars Fort Wayne. Expanding from the apartment closet to another closet that we rent. Got all our stuff here, all our listed inventory, all our fun little grail jackets on the wall here. We see some friends. We get in fights. See some dead bodies. It's a good time.
I'm going to leave it there. You have to watch the rest of this video. It's hilarious. But Duddy Vintage, again, very interesting creator. He does go along here to actually start highlighting some clothing, as you can see here. He does a little bit of a haul. I love that jacket. Actually, it's phenomenal. But having said that, go follow and subscribe to Duddy Vintage. 56 subscribers for the quality of the content you just saw. Let's get him to 1,000 at the very least. Go show him some love. Duddy Vintage. Both BritLife and Duddy Vintage are going to be linked down below in the description. And of course, if you want to see any of your content, your channel, your art highlighted in this show, feel free to contact me at goodmorningsubmissions@gmail.com. I'd love to highlight your content. Again, that's what we're here to do. We're here to inspire people, and we're here to show other people the really cool human beings that are out there. So again, Duddy Vintage, thank you so much for today's Small Creator Club of the day. We are going to move on, though. We're gonna start our affirmations, and we're going to start Friday off strong with the quote of the day. Love takes off masks that we fear we cannot live without, and no, we cannot live within. I actually love that quote. James Baldwin for that quote. Such a wonderful, wonderful look into sort of what it is like to actually love someone and to have more of a stake in something or someone than you have in yourself. Again, love taking us out of our comfort zones and allowing us to live a fuller, more rich life. So go love something, go love someone today. That being said, we are going to read today's affirmations. I actually have a little bit of a different affirmation today. It's something that I wrote specifically for today because, again, it's Friday. We made it to the end of the work week. You made it to the end of the work week. Whatever this week has looked like, if it's been the best, if it's been the worst, you made it. You're almost at the finish line, but we have one little push to go. So be kind to yourself. Drink plenty of water and get some sunshine if you're able. Again, it's going to be beautiful out today. If you're missing the rain a little bit, then please get outside and get some vitamin D. Cross the finish line today. It's been a long week, but it's almost over. You've done so well up to this point, and it's time to finish strong. One more work day ahead, and then you can rest, recharge, and refuel. I hope you have the happiest of Fridays. You deserve it. You've done so well up to this point. Be proud of yourself, but also just a little bit more, and then you can rest. That being said, that will do it for this morning's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a viewer and for being here this morning. I know that you're doing me a huge service by giving me a little slice of your morning routine, and I hope that you are equally recharged and invigorated by the content that we provide to you. Big thanks to GME's sponsors, executive producers, and just all of our patrons as well. If you want to see your name to the left here, please feel free to check out the Patreon. It's going to be linked right there as well as in the description. Become a patron, a producer, starting at $5 a month, very cheap, and you get access to a whole bunch of interesting content. You get access to your name being here, community discords, you get access to community posts that get posted on Patreon, as well as merch drops when they come out. It's a good deal. Be a part of the community. It's an awesome, awesome community. If you have art or a channel that you want us to share with the world, please email your submission to goodmorningsubmissions@gmail.com. Again, it's linked right there and in the description below. Would love to give you the chance to have your art and your work shown to the world and to this community. If you want to become a sponsor of Good Morning Everybody, please reach out to me as contact goodmorningeverybody@gmail.com. I'd love to start that conversation. We can make an arrangement. That being said, thank you so much for being a viewer today. Thank you so much for being a good person and a wonderful human being today. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and you take care. Have a great, great Friday.